Oh, is this thing on? Oh, I suppose maybe it is because I turned it on. Gosh, I was like waiting for a 3, 2, 1, you're on. Oh, wait, but I'm the one that activated the camera, nobody else did, so I should have known it was on. Let me ask you something. I've released a lot of videos, and nothing compares to real life. When you're doing a video, you can actually sit back and think, well, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to do? Real life, when you're in the middle of a situation, you don't always get a chance to think completely about what you want to say. It's a spur of the moment kind of thing. So, that being said, I'm going to take the time to think about what I want to say. Okay, I've had time to think about a bit. So it comes down to the fact of, hey neighbors, pretty good, just making a video. Hey. So, my neighbors just got home, so I got to kind of keep it down. Things we deal with in life. You know, there's always a nice subtle way, and then sometimes it's like life, right in your face. We got to think about the future, but you can't always live in the future or live in the past. You live in the moment. Life is compiled of living in the moment, learning from the past, and planning for the future. You can't worry about the future. You can't worry about what tomorrow might bring. You got to make a basic plan and go with the flow. Sometimes things just don't work out the way you plan them. And the more you live life, the more you understand that you plan the best you can. And sometimes, I hate to quote the lyrics to a song, in the end it really doesn't matter. So you become versatile. Kind of like playing a mission for the first time. When you play a mission for the first time, if you've never seen it before, you don't know what's coming up. You don't know what's in store for you. Okay? Life's the same way. Now, the longer you live life, the more you can kind of make an educated guess on how to handle each situation. Sometimes our educated guesses aren't always the best. But that's what makes us smart, because then we can learn from our mistakes that we make. There is no do-overs. You got one shot at this life. Make it the best you can. You can't dwell on the past. You can't dwell on the future. Because you don't know. There might not be a tomorrow. You know, look at everything that's going on around you. People die every day. You die in video games every day. Turn around, you replay the mission. Well, when shit happens, and I'm swearing again, when stuff happens throughout your life, you get no do-overs. And a lot of people go through life trying to change the future by what happened in the past. And the only way you can really change the future is to change what you do at that moment in time. Because the future is truly not set. Okay? The future changes all the time. Could go to the left, could go to the right. You know, you ever pull up to a stop sign or a stoplight or something and you got the urge to go, but you decide, you know what, the light just turned green, I'm going to wait a little bit to go, and then all of a sudden the guy runs to the stoplight, and it's like, man, if I would have gone right away, I would have got hit. Or how about, you know, you look both ways and you don't see anybody, but for some reason you decide, you know, I'm going to wait a second longer, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a bicyclist comes by or somebody's walking across the street, and it's like, I'm glad I waited. That's the way life is. Sometimes you have to take the wait-and-see approach. Do what you can, plan for it, be prepared, but sometimes life throws you a curveball. Something you never see, you never plan. Well, me being a biblical man, I look at it from this perspective. My perspective is this. You learn from your past. You can learn from other people's past. You can learn from the mistakes that they made. And sometimes I can tell you about my life and my family and my dad and my mom and stuff like that. But you learn from other people's lives around you and stuff like that. And you try to make either positive choices that they made, or you try to make different choices because of choices they made. And that becomes your way of life. Okay? It's been said that I have a very boring and simple life. It has also been said that I don't do anything fun. But it's funny because I actually enjoy life. I enjoy the lives of the people around me. Granted, I don't like a ton of people, but, you know, liking somebody and being happy they're around are two totally different things. Okay. There's sometimes people say and do things that really rub you the wrong way. And then you have to sit there and think, do I just react to this situation, or do I make a good sound judgment in my own mind and act a different way? Do I react this way, or do I react that way? And some people are motivated by their passions. Did you ever hear the phrase that you need to govern your passion because it could be the end of you? Yeah, that's a legit statement. And it has been the end of certain people because they haven't learned to govern their passions or their anger or their obsessions or their fears. In all honesty, I believe nothing happens by accident. I believe everything happens for a reason. And I believe there's a purpose in life. I believe even if bad things happen, sometimes the bad things that happen can actually have a positive outcome. Yin and yang. For every negative, there's a positive, and for every positive, there's a negative. You can always look at the negative side, or you can always look at the positive side. You have to decide that. And when bad things happen, you have a choice. You can sit there and dwell about what you're in, or you can be like, okay, you got me there. Good one. I didn't see that coming. Wow, totally caught me off guard. Won't happen again. I didn't plan for it. It was unexpected. And there's no fault in that. There's no fault in not knowing the future, or not knowing how somebody's going to react or act in any given situation. It's not your place to even know that. That's God's. It's God's place to decide where tomorrow's going. It's also your place, though, to decide what you're going to do at those moments. And sometimes Sand in the machinery of life. Your anger gets the better of you, or your hatred, or you're just pissed off, or your lack of sleep, or you have no compassion, or it's one of those things that in your life you have to decide for yourself what you believe in. And your beliefs are going to decide the way you act or react. If you have no regard for human life, it's going to show in your actions. If you don't have regard for people around you, it's going to be in what you say and do. You can't hide what's truly inside. I found that out tonight. In my deepest, darkest recesses of my heart, my mind, I do have an evil side. I have a very bitter side. Side full of anger. But does that decide who you are as an individual? Or do you decide who you're going to be? Just because people have those tendencies doesn't mean you have to be that way. That's like saying that you were raised in an abusive family, so you're going to be abusive. Where's the logic in that? In all honesty, if you were raised in an abusive family and you don't like it, you shouldn't be abusive. You should be the contrary. Because you know what it's like to be raised in an abusive family. You see what drugs and drinking does to your parents or something, or your brothers or sisters or whatever. That should give you indication that, hey, I see how it screwed your life up. I don't want to screw mine up like that. You see what I'm saying? So you can learn a lot from other people's lives around you. You can learn a lot from what goes on around you with your friends, fellow coworkers, or whatever. And past relationships. But that's not going to decide who you are. It's going to give you the basis on who you're going to be. But you always, and I don't care what anybody says, you always have a choice. Always. Do you give in to this or do you give in to that? And it's a minute by minute sometimes, second by second. And I choose to try to renew my mind according to Scripture. I am a biblical man. Anybody that knows me will testify to that. I don't always go to church. I don't always sit around and pray. But I am a biblical man. I know there's a God. I've staked my life on it. I also stake my eternal life on it. And I do realize one important thing. The future is His. I have to choose how I'm going to live minute by minute. I have to choose what to do with the time He's given me. And that is my point of view on life. It's always been that way. It will always be that way. And no matter what happens to me or those around me, I know it to be true. Regardless of the situations that happen. Regardless of what I see people go through. And most of the time, I hate to say it, we are victims of our own demise. I don't care what kind of psychological studies they got out there, it's the truth. You smoke every day of your life and you end up with lung cancer. Wonder why? Drinking all the time, you drinking and driving, you get cirrhosis of the liver. Wonder how that happened. You don't sleep well at night, you get a stroke. Or you're always stressed out. We as a society are victims of our own demise. We have a bad habit with eating and overeating and not eating healthy, and we end up overweight. Whose fault is that? We don't get out and get exercises and everything else, and our blood pressure's high. Whose fault is that? It's not God's. It's ours. And if there's anything I could suggest to the rest of you, and anyone that watches this, is make good choices each and every day. Make those plans for the future. Do what you can to ensure that you're around, because you never know when your final day is. You never know when your final moment's going to be, and you should always, always do your best. My best today might not be my best last week, you know what I mean? My best tomorrow might supersede what I did today. You never know. But as long as you're always doing your best and you're putting your best foot forward, you're moving forward, that shows integrity of heart. Well, I'm going to leave you with that one. And this is the end of the day, and this is actually the review of my life and my beliefs with you. I have more music coming up, lyrics that I've been working on. And because of what I've been going through tonight, I've been inspired. I love that word inspired because it means in spirit action. And anybody that's biblical or anybody that believes in God's going to know exactly what I mean. In spirit action. And I'm inspired. So hell, look out. There's a son of God on the loose. I love you guys. You're the best. And I really hope people get these messages and learn. Because there is so much little tidbits in this whole thing. You really got to watch it through from the beginning. Because you know what? It's not just about me. It's about all of you too. And YouTube, thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it. Godspeed, which is a nautical term for you Navy personnel. Godspeed, and make the winds be in your sails. And God bless you immensely. See ya!